The Cataclysm contains all you ever need, both blessings and curses, nourishment and exhaustion. Finally, a long crafting journey comes to a close today. Welcome back to Cataclysm, Dark Days Ahead. My journey is Vellum, aspiring Archmage, the Apocalypse. With 86 out of the 90 pieces of bronze we need in order to finally get our anvil up and running, Vellum feels like he has a fire lit under him. So we are going to start off by pretty much just immediately heading out. And currently the limiting reagent for bronze is in fact the copper, but if we need more aluminum, we can hit the houses nearby and tear up their... We'll hit the houses nearby and we'll tear up all of the gutters and drains and stuff like that. So because we want to hit some new hunting grounds, continue hitting new hunting grounds, we are going to gate back over to Groveland. Apparently an acided zombie managed to make it into our teleportation spot here. That's a little concerning. We might need to move our teleportation spot or do something about this, because the issue here is that whenever we come through the gates, we are quite vulnerable for a little bit. As soon as we pop through the gates, we are very low on stamina. Go ahead and make sure that we take out all the zombies around our gate here. We don't want them wandering in. Not whenever that means that we could come through a gate one of these times and immediately get mauled by something. I guess we did fight really close to our gate location. I don't think we realized that we were doing that at the time because it was the northern wall of the bank. So yeah, that was just an oversight as it was. Okay. So we have our target. There is a used bookstore and a gun store off to the east. That should give us a pretty significant amount of copper. And we will kind of like quickly, just very briefly kill this dog, but also very briefly breeze through the buildings that we find along the way. We're also going to be checking bushes for fruit because Vellum needs some food. We don't really have a lot. And we're going to be going through the houses nearby because we learned last time that these copper pots actually provide a pretty significant amount of copper because they give us copper chunks, which are basically ideal for what we're looking for here. Each one copper chunk immediately converts into a chunk of bronze. And we have a Pharaoh Goblin on the street here. Wow, we almost took that guy down in one hit. We also have something called a Kevlar zombie. I think we've run into one of these before. It's actually a zombie that's, again, meshed with an animate material. In this case, a Kevlar. We could probably literally cut his hide in order to farm some Kevlar. Don't think we really need to do that right now. There is a clothing store right here. Good to keep in mind. Not something we super need right now, though, so I'm just not going to bother with it. I don't want to get too distracted, as it were. Vellum has this goal in mind, and it would be nice to finally finish it. It has been days and weeks now of hunting down all of the materials necessary to do what he wants to do, and it's been closer than ever now. Ah, that's a zombie hunter. Okay, gonna leap. Let it approach and finish it off. That little zombie also saw us, unfortunately. But that is a lot of zombie soldiers. I wonder if something happened here. They do always have MRA packages on them, which I will happily take. Surprisingly quiet as we actually made it over a couple blocks here. And as we're getting closer, I think we're going to make a... Ooh, what's that? That is a lot of light. There's a car on in the distance here. That's not ideal. The light just went out. I wonder if the car is like flickering its lights on and off. We're going to avoid that and head north to... There's another craft shop here. See if there's anything useful in this craft shop. What the hell? I can't even believe it. We always knew. Vellum always knew that there was a chance that we would just find what we need in a craft shop. So we've been continuing to check them. But we've gotten so damn close to make the bronze anvil with all of the bronze that we have that we just found an anvil, and a pair of tongs. Holy crap. And it's a steel anvil too. It's actually better than what we were going to make. Okay, we're going to put it on the ground for now. Don't worry, we are not leaving without it. But we are going to see what else we can get in here. There is an electric lantern there. Don't really care too much about that. Metalworking chisel. Holy crap, that was just... My mind just got blown open for a moment there whenever I saw that. I can't, honestly, can't believe it. It's like we got some steel, some sandpaper. I do actually think we need some sandpaper, so we'll go ahead and take some of that. Just quickly look around through here. See if there's anything else particularly impressive. Why are we so warm? I think it's maybe just because it's summertime. Probably don't need some of the stuff that we have on anymore. Like, we probably don't need this scarf, for example. That helps our mouth a little bit. But unfortunately, the rest of it's coming from my armor as I take a look at all of this. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything else here that is of incredible note. So, yeah, we'll just pick up the anvil and catch our breath so we can gate back. That is... I mean, like I said, we always knew there was a possibility that we just straight up found one. But I am just... basically completely flabbergasted that we did end up finding one in the end. What we're going to do is we're going to pick up the crucible here and put the crucible back down, I think over there, down our tools. And yeah, I think we have to place this. Putting it right across the forge here makes a lot of sense to us. Yeah, place anvil. Okay, steel spear. We can just make it now. This is... incredible. I can't believe we got so incredibly close to making a bronze anvil. We learned so many things about metalworking, and then at the end of the day, we just ended up finding a freaking anvil anyways. Honestly, I'm fine with it. It's just amazing to me. So yeah, we're gonna start making a steel spear, which is going to take us a lot of time. Make sure we turn on our atomic light, and this might take more than one craft session to do because it's going to be a lot of work. And yeah, we even just got a piece of fabrication for doing it. Hold on. We're going to put it down for now and get some food in us. It's just going to be a boring sandwich. And back to work. Vellum is just hammering away at this anvil way late into the night and into the following day. We've already put most of a day into this thing. Our fabrication skill is now up to 6. We had a theoretical knowledge of up to this point, so it makes sense that we gained more fabrication so quickly here. But at the same time, it's also just kind of amazing how quickly working on this blacksmithing is just accelerating us into... Man, we really need more food. Accelerating us into higher tiers here. Apparently blacksmithing is actually pretty hungry work. I believe it. Vellum is pushing himself so hard to finish it, and nearly 12 hours after originally starting this project, we actually have to go to bed and continue it the next day. Literally can't even finish it in one day, which is kind of amazing to me. This is a craft on a level of which, you know, Vellum has never even attempted to do. It's kind of incredible to see how far we've come. Another day and more hammering away at the steel spear. I'm honestly surprised that the charges in our charcoal furnace actually held out to this. And there we go. We finally have a steel spear. 30 piercing damage. Sits bash. It immediately doesn't look like that much of an upgrade. We're going to go ahead and honestly drop our knife spear. And we're going to favorite the steel spear. Okay, well, now for the next step then, because that wasn't where we planned on ending this. Now we have to get to a steel spear 1, which means that we need a tool of mana infusing, which is something that we have been looking at pretty heavily. The enchanting guide, I'm just going to break character here a little bit and say that the enchanting guide appears to be bugged. And I had some commenters test this for me as well. There's no way to actually, supposed to be a copper bracelet that you can get, but there's no way to actually get the recipe in vanilla. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw away the ingredients for the copper bracelets and then just kind of give ourselves one. So I'll be back in a moment once I've done that. Okay, now that we have a copper infusion bracelet, we should be able to wear... Actually, I don't know if we're supposed to wear it. I mean, we can probably, right? Does it interfere with anything? It does actually interfere with things, but we'll wear it for now because we're about to start enchanting, right? So let's look at our steel spear again and see what we need. We just need 20 mana dust now. So if I remember correctly, there was a way to make mana dust. Oh, we just need it. Yeah. So do a crystallized mana. So if we were to make 19 of it, hour and 45 minutes. Okay. Just very, very quickly grind some dust with a mortar and pestle, being careful to not do it so quickly that we cause any sort of explosion. Vellum does have the first understandings of magic, and he also has a book on magic. And now a steel spear +1. Let's see how long this takes. It might be a while as Vellum once again goes into a lengthy crafting process, which we might not actually have the food to finish. No, we have a lot of cheese. Okay. So, no, we don't have a lot of cheese. A lot of that stack of cheese was, in fact, going bad. We will keep going for now and see if we can finish before we start to starve. But once we get to +1, instead of going straight to +2, we might have to go out hunting for food because I don't know if we're going to have the ability to gets to +2 right away, as we have spent yet another day making this spear, as we now have a +1 magically enchanted spear doing 33 piercing damage. Oh, wow, that is so good. That is so good. It has a crazy high critical hit chance too. Go ahead and favorite that for now and take a look at the +2 steel spear, which only requires another 20 mana dust. That is... We have gone from, it's like light speed at which we have enhanced our abilities here. If we stopped to get mana dust right now and all of that, we would probably starve to death. So instead of doing that, we're going to go ahead and reload our canteen real quick with some clean water. And we're going to spend a moment to go and, you know, actually get some food nearby. It is the morning, but I'm not too worried about it. So we'll just head out as is. Maybe perhaps we can find some fish nearby or something like that. I sort of forgot that we had made these, shall we say, improvements to this side of the base. And I don't think we actually have a way through over here anymore. Our only way out is over here at this point. But I do think that there's a bit of a park to the north here that we can head towards. Oh, I forgot that there's also this Zool creature out here. We probably want to be careful of that. It would be unwise for us to deal with a named dinosaur, which is strange to us that the simple concept of there being a named dinosaur out here is literally baffling, but we are going to avoid it. You know, there's some level of me that just wants to make the bronze anvil anyways, because we got so freaking close to finishing it that it's tempting to just, ooh, here's the first victim. Oh, one hit and we almost took it down with our first swing. This thing is no joke. Immediately hearing gunshots. Great start to the day. Some antiseptic here, which is a great source for future bandages. I do feel a little fearless now that we have this absolutely incredible weapon in our hands. That might be a bad thing for us on some level, because our fearlessness has already gotten us into trouble in the past. But man, we have just... It's just such an incredible upgrade of our actual damage output capabilities to have this thing. It feels amazing. To look back on where we were even a month ago, it's just... The difference in our capabilities is absolutely astounding. Running from minor threats in the past to being rather fearless about walking around just during the day and not being too concerned about this. It's almost like a completely different apocalypse. Yeah, these things barely stand a chance against us now. I guess with something like this in our hands, this magical weapon available to us now, we're not going to have a choice. We need to seek out harder threats. We need to seek out things that are worthy challenge, as even being ambushed by zombies in the daytime. This is one of the first times Vellum's even bothered to walk around during the daytime. Seeing the city in the brightest of day and seeing that there's zombies on the horizon and just not really caring, just calmly picking a peach tree because we need food to continue our crafting. It's a different experience. It's a different way to be. And when we were lost in that other realm, we had made a promise to ourselves that we would start to live in the apocalypse. And being able to walk around during the day and no longer cowering at night, this feels like one of the first steps to that being true. And what the hell is a creepy crawler? What was once a child is now a mutant beast with blackened skin and massive eyes. This abomination's vile forms make a mockery of his human origin. Interesting. I think if we're going to walk around during the day, we might actually want to favorite Camellioflage here, which is a concentration ability that makes us less visible from a distance. It means that even during the day, we don't have to worry as much about things spotting us from very far away. Ooh, some pickled meats. That is a good find right there. If I see any copper pots, I might still grab them because I can see us needing more copper and bronze in the future. And even a zombie soldier. Holy crap. Even a zombie soldier that was actively wearing armor went down in only a handful of swings. Well, we have enough food now. We should just go back and finish our crafting project here. We're going to go ahead and gate back to the Academy Tower and finish our enchanting project. We got a great test of what a +1 spear looks like. Let's see what a +2 spear can do. Of course, we have to make food first, but that's not the worst thing in the world. What's better, fruit juice or cooked fruit? Hard to say. I am curious if there's something better we could be making with all of this fruit other than fruit juice and cooked fruit. Perhaps it would be a recipe from a book or something like that that would give us some better ideas. So I do feel like cooked fruit and fruit juice is sort of wasteful maybe, but there doesn't seem to be anything that we know of off the top of our heads here. Regardless, we're going to eat and at least spend a couple more hours starting our Nets enchanting project here. +2 steel spear. First, we need to make the mana dust. All 20 of it. Oh yeah, I guess we do need... That might be something we work on next, is just a quick home ec project of getting our basement here a little bit better cleaned up. Get some lighting down here, as it were. Having a permanent light source down here would be kind of fantastic, and I do kind of already know how we can get that done. Vellum would prefer to use something like an ever-burning torch, but we just don't know how to do that. So we might do something a little bit more basic, as it were, of like potentially... I accidentally only made one. Potentially getting just a very, very basic solar panel up and running, and then wiring the solar panel to just like a light. We're not that far from the surface, so it wouldn't take that much to get it done, I don't think. Might be something we look into. Okay. Steel spear +2. After this, we might want to look into some armor. There might be some better things that we can do, and we're already, man, we're literally underweight for how much we need to eat food right now. I imagine gating around and using phase as liberally as we have been is not helping with our diet, as psionic abilities can actually just straight up drain calories from your body. Okay. Where Vellum is already at the point where he is literally extremely tired. So I think we're going to give him a little bit of a break, and he is going to yet again spend another night sleeping after crafting for an entire day. Yeah, food is starting to become a pretty consistent problem. If we're to continue in the apocalypse, there's a possibility that we want to look into some sort of more permanent food solution. But as we said before, like, farming's not exactly something Vellum is super interested in. So this is going to be another time that I would like to call to the audience and be like, outside of just setting up farms, is there a more permanent solution to food that we can come up with? But while we ask that, we now have a +2 steel spear. Wow, it does nearly double. Let's compare real quick. Hold on. I want to just really put this in mind. So we're going to go into compare mode and compare the steel spear to what we've been using this whole time. The weapon that we've been capable of literally carving through crowds with, will compare to the knife spear. And see if we can remember how to scroll down here. There we go. So we're looking at a +10 piercing damage. It's faster too. Holy crap. Yeah, it is literally better in every single way to the knife spear. It does more bashing damage, it does more piercing damage, it does more crits. It's faster. Technically it has a food cooking quality, which is just completely unnecessary to the whole thing. It's also even lighter. That is crazy. It is just better in every single way. We're going to go ahead and does it not fit in our spear strap? Oh, the knife spear just kind of like, it was so familiar to us and so familiar to Vellum that whenever he picked it up and put it away, he sort of just automatically put it into his spear strap. So something I'm curious about now is, now that we've gotten to where we are, one of the things that I'd like to replace first, if we did decide to start going into making armor, would be a helmet. So we have things like a great helm, a Gallia, which is an Imperial Roman helmet. But I think most of these things are 20 encumbrance is less than we're currently dealing with right now. And I think it's made out of steel. Oh no, it's cast iron and leather. Steel and leather would be great. Great helm. Great helm is an incredible amount of encumbrance. One of the things that we have to watch out for is that we can't encumber our mouth, because that's how we cast spells. So is there something that we can put on that doesn't... Oh, here we go. This is a proper Viking helmet, a nasal helm, which an early medieval helm with a projection guarding the nose to better protect the face without obstructing vision. Interesting. So it covers most of our head and only a small amount of our mouth, but it's a very, very low encumbrance, and it's a pretty good amount of defense. There might be something better. What about the Barbute helm? Barbute helm covers most of our head and eyes and the mouth. More of the head and eyes and mouth. It's a little bit more encumbrance, but it's way more protection. Holy crap. Okay. Yeah. We might want to look into making this. This is a steel and leather helm. Just real quick, we're going to compare this. So for the crown, ears, and forehead. Yeah, okay. So it's sitting at like... The four that we care about is cut, bash, ballistic, and pierce. So it's sitting around like, let's say 12 to 15 average there, versus our army helmet that we are currently wielding. Wow, okay, the army helmet might just be way better, sitting at 22. The downfall is that the army helmet is very encumbering, and it only covers, so it looks like it covers just our head. Yeah. It also would just fit us better to have a piece of medieval armor. And, like, the army helmet's nice and all, but I think Vellum would honestly just prefer the medieval armor instead. So we're going to make one. It might take us a little bit, but we will, once again, have Vellum hammering long into the night and long into the day, sitting at the forge, taking great advantage of his spoils. And yeah, the Barbute helm is unfortunately even more complex than what we have already made with the steel spear. And spending one day on it, we actually only got 10% of it done. Oof, that is a lot. That is a lot to deal with. I would like to point out that as we have gotten another 10% on this Barbute helm, we now have our fabrication up to 7, as we are just blasting through the tiers of fabrication at this point. We are, however, not eating properly, so this food crisis is quickly becoming like an actual issue. While we were looking through things, we did ironically find that once we got to a certain level in fabrication, we skipped right over the copper infusion bracelet, which is missing from the recipes, and we got to a silver infusion bracelet, which we could actually just make. It was written down in Magic Deck Illustrated, and we could just make it. So we will probably, yeah, here we can now see the copper infusion bracelet too, which again, we had the tools. We could have made this. We have copper bracelets sitting around, so I don't feel too bad about the fact that we kind of pseudo cheated that in. But I did want to look through the recipes real quick and make sure that there wasn't any armor that we could enchant. It doesn't appear that there is. However, through our books that we have learned of a lot of different types of dragon armor, which does involve killing black dragons. Finding a black dragon, I mean, we don't just have, like, on our notes here, we don't just have, like, a dragon lair, right? No results. Okay, we haven't just found one lying around somewhere, but killing a black dragon might be a proper use, a proper reason for all of this armor and weapons that we're making. It would give us something as a pin in the future of how strong we must get. And Vellum is not in the state of overconfidence to believe that in his current state we could take down a black dragon. I think one of the biggest things would be we would want some more spells and ways to deal with dragons. Because, well, you know, there's probably going to be people with flying. It's probably going to have incredible armor. You know, sitting there and just fighting it with a spear is probably not going to be the way to go forward and the way to win. We don't know a lot of what they're capable of. We've never fought one, but just rushing in headfirst is going to be a surefire way for us to just get absolutely cooked and be dragon food. And despite the fact that that is sort of a way that Vellum is not sad about having, like, he wouldn't terribly be too sad about going out via dragon. It's going out at all. Dying at all is just not on our list anymore. We're done with dying. We're too strong to worry about dying anymore. We need to worry about surviving now. And I just noticed that there is a zombie in our thing here, so we're going to kill it real quick. And by kill it, I mean crush it down real quick. We kind of need to go on a little bit of a hunting trip, and I had noticed earlier that there's a bunch of unhit houses to the north here. We just need some food so we can finish crafting. That's all it really is. Plus, look at that damage. We really just wanted to try out our spear. Zombies are now going down in about 1.5 hits, as we are taking them out so quickly with this new spear. It is a marvel. It is truly a marvel. It's one of the first real weapons we have had. Now sitting around 70% done. We are famished and once again underweight. And once again out of food, but we have also ascended up to fabrication 7 now. Or sorry, 8 even. And it's actually gone to the point where I don't think we're going to get much more skill out of blacksmithing, because it actually has gone to the point where even blacksmithing is considered to be a simple task for our level of blacksmithing, or our level of fabrication. We're 80% done, and it's so close to being finished, our next piece of gear, but we are completely out of food, and we can't keep going like this. We're also very, very tired and very, very weary. We are going to step out real quick, and avoiding the Rule of Zool dinosaur, we are going to take another sweep into our northern houses here for some food. These people have a lot of berry bushes around here that we can take advantage of, on top of a handful of houses that we haven't actually hit, like some cheese spreads and dried corn. And wow, this one just is really good, actually. Yeah, I actually got a lot of food just from this one house right here. Hit some blueberries on the way out. Okay. With more food in hand, we'll actually see if we can make some better food. It's going to last us a little bit longer through this. I feel like food has just been almost a constant issue of us right now. It is incredible to finally finish our helmets and our armor and our spear and feel like we're finally kitted out in a new way. It might have been a technical side grade, but it does mean that we have a less encumbrance on our head, and Vellum feels more comfortable wearing medieval weapons and armor than wearing these modern things made out of like Kevlar and stuff like that. It makes him feel more at home. And I think as a celebratory thing, we are going to try and take advantage of our new equipment and find a bookstore. I think Vellum is going to take a celebratory trip to a bookstore of some sort. Actually, preferably a library, one that we haven't searched before. It looks like there's a library in northeast Groveland, and our attack on a library will probably be just a nice little celebratory trip, but also a trip to kind of get a feel for our new equipment. Unfortunately, it is 6 a.m., so I think, first of all, we're probably just going to sit down and read more about Gravity Well until we get to appropriate time to sleep, and then we'll go on our trip. Finally, we are going to head to Groveland, and once again, we'll probably have to hit a few places along the way just for some food, but we're going to head up to this library in the northeast. Wow, that is much longer of a trip than I thought it was going to be. Actually, there's another one right over there. We're going to head to that one instead because, well, it's not, a million blocks away. We immediately spot a small horde. We've been reading the book on Gravity Well this whole time. I want to immediately... as we tried to cast Gravity Well, a Night Stalker zombie comes out and slashes at us, and we do manage to duck under it. It does disappear as soon as we even take a step away, which means that I think this calls for a light source. I think we'll probably do the same thing we did last time and use Field of Light to illuminate it, and as soon as it's illuminated, we swing out and take it down easily. And we have a small horde coming at us now. But I don't think we're too scared. We're going to go ahead and pull out a wind strike, knocking everything off its feet. There's a thorny shambler behind us and there's also a zombie necromancer. We're going to take out that zombie hunter, step up to the zombie necromancer, immediately wipe it out. We're going to crush down the zombie necromancer just in case. And then I want to Gravity Well, so we're going to attempt to cast Gravity Well again, and look at that. Our practice has paid off as the area of effect now is huge, but we did still lose concentration. We have about a 50% chance to fail this spell because it is one of the most complicated spells we have. As we do finally get off the spell, crushing down enemies, dealing already more damage than our fireballs previously did. There is a boomer in the crowd there, so I'm going to wind strike all of them, blasting the boomer on top of everything else as well, as Vellum has, in a matter of moments, basically flawlessly and easily taking out a horde. And sure, we have been taking out hordes left and right now, but this was borderline simple at this point. This new spear of his, magically guided, enhanced through mana, just cuts through these things like butter. And with Gravity Well, we no longer have to worry about setting things on fire whenever we attack with this. We'll slip into a house real quick, see if we can find some food for the trip. Make sure that there's nothing else in here worth taking. We at least got something. Probably need to find more food at some point, like very soon. After checking some of the nearby houses and honestly just grabbing some berries, we immediately move on. And there is a museum here, but I don't remember if we have checked this museum. It looks like we have. We've been mostly disappointed by these museums so far, and at this point, there's very few things in them that we couldn't simply just make ourselves. One of the things that we're going to be wanting to do next, though, is I have just recently remembered that with everything we have now, we could, in fact, start to gather the resources necessary to cast this lesser mana efficiency ritual. And realistically, looking at this list, the only thing we need is copper. So we'll be continuing to keep an eye out for copper on our journey here. But the arms race has taken another step. Vellum is now grabbed by a zombie prowler. And he actually managed to do a significant amount of damage to us just now. We are going to wind strike it to knock it down. That hurt. And we need to make sure that we don't get overconfident. That was actually quite painful. That zombie. And the only problem is that with the zombie prowlers, like, we can't see them coming by any means. And it grabbed us and pulled us away into other zombies, which is where the real trouble came. Because at the end of the day, we are still an elf skull zombie. What? Is that special? Zombie's head is a hideous gray scroll formed of human bone fragments and some sort of goo. Jagged teeth are visible as the thing works its jaw, and lidlessly, disturbingly human eyes stare at you from their sockets. This thing's fleshy ears are 4 times the size too large and droop under their own weight. So yeah, it actually hurt. The skull zombie was hearing me. And it looks like there's also a slavering biter there. We are starting to get a consistent amount of more evolved zombies. We are going to wind strike these two, knocking down that zombie and that slavering biter to be able to very quickly take them out with our new weapons here. Almost immediately out of mana. That's actually pretty impressive how quickly just our basic spells, our basic tasks have run us out of mana. Another reason to be starting to get into these mana efficiency rituals to improve ourselves and make ourselves more capable of sustaining mana for longer periods of time. I'm honestly impressed that the steel spear, the +2 steel spear, has actually managed to take some damage. Fortunately, we've already become quite good at the fault mending chant, which means that we can use even more magic to simply repair the spear very easily. Hopefully this library isn't completely burnt out and destroyed like most of the libraries Vellum has found in the apocalypse. And hopefully there's at least one spellbook here. Although this weapon itself has been a fruit of its own labor. And wow, as that thing came up to us, it actually shrieked at us so loudly it dazed us. That's honestly pretty impressive. I'm gonna quickly go through here. Looks like a bunch of sciencey books, some more books on armor making, a bunch of programming books that we haven't read but we also don't care about. Looks like that's the fiction section at that point. We hear a lot of things breaking into the place here. Some mechanical books. I would be deeply disappointed if this entire place is just filled with stuff that we realistically already have or don't need. Clothing designers. Wow. Yeah. Despite the fact that Vellum didn't find any books here that were new to him or interesting to him, we did enjoy the trip to a bookstore. That is something we have always enjoyed. And this bookstore is now literally filled corner to corner with zombies because of that screecher that literally screamed in our face earlier. And as much as we would love to just completely destroy all of these things with our new spear here, without any mana, this might be quite the ask. What we're going to do is we're just going to hide in one of the rooms and phase out. You know what? Screw it. Vellum has never been one to back down from a challenge. We're going to blow up that zombie over there, that boomer, and we are going to slice through this crowd. I imagine we can, right? We can wear our gas mask with this helmet, right? Oh, we actually can't. Interesting. That is one downfall of the Barbute helmet, is that we can't wear a gas mask at the same time. Wearing the gas mask, we do step up and break that thing real quick. Break that boomer real quick. Put our helmet back on. And let's really put the spear through its paces. In fact, we'll even... Oh, we don't have enough mana for ogre strength. I was going to say we'll even buff our strength to make it even better. We just take slice and slice and slice at a Dissolute Devourer on its own terms. We actually take it down, not using a fence or anything, but just using our armor and our spear. Vellum is just carving through these things in only a handful of hits. We have taken a few hits of our own, though. It looks like our arms are actually the thing that is the least protected at this point, as the spear does push us away from zombies a good distance. And there we go. Now, because of shady zombies who are hiding, we have managed to actually get a few hits off on us. And it sounds like something is firing down below. I think an old classic here. We're going to climb up onto the roof, put away our spear, and quickly take care of our bleeding wounds. But unlike the past, we can just gate down instead of leaping from the building and getting ourselves hurt. It's pretty incredible what we're capable of doing now. Without even magic, we've taken out the vast majority of this crowd here. With magic, we probably could finish it off. In fact, let's just go ahead and do that. Why even hold back? It's the apocalypse. We send out one fireball, followed only by another, wiping them all out, and we might be lighting that library on fire, but despite the fact that the destruction of books is honestly quite a sad thing. That library didn't really have much in it for us in the first place, as we allow that dissolute devourer to get close to us, hoping it would follow us up to the edge of this roof, but it in fact didn't. There we go. Now we got the devourer on the roof edge. As strong as we are, we're not going to be completely stupid here. We do finally see a new creature amongst the zombies. We have taken the next step in our arms race, but they have too. We see a zombie strider. In front of you lies the most disgusting rendition of a starfish you've ever seen. Not just the arms, but the legs and even the head have been horrendously deformed and stretched several meters long. It walks around hunchback, looking through the remains of its head for its next meal. Well then, that's definitely something. That is definitely something. I think with that, we are going to call this journey, this particular journey at least, pretty much solved, as unfortunately that library is probably going to burn down. Hopefully it doesn't burn down too many of the things nearby, and Vellum feels satisfied, not only with this, but with his progress in general, as we are going to gate back if we can. It looks like we actually can't because of the pain right now, but that should be fine. We're up on our roof, so we have the moment to, take care of ourselves and get our focus back. Let our pain kind of wear off. That zombie strider can't get up to us, can it? Doesn't seem to be able to. There we go. Now we can gate again. Okay. I wasn't concerned at all. Not at all for a couple minutes there. Being so close to a horde. Definitely something we want to keep in mind is that we're not actually that good at gating yet. So doing it on the fly or even in a moment of panic is not going to be something we're going to be able to consistently pull off. With that, I do think that we are going to have to call it here. We have made tremendous progress, tremendous strides, and despite the fact that we didn't actually make a bronze anvil in the end, again, my mind was just blasted by that. We still managed to make our spear, and we even made a helmet and a possibility for other things like that in the future. We do need to find a solution for the conflict between our helmet and our gas mask, but it's not something that Vellum is going to have in the forefront of his mind. He doesn't wear his gas mask very often, and he has no issues quickly taking his helmet off to put the gas mask on, even if it does mean a loss of armor. I believe the next thing we'll want to put a significant amount of armor on is probably our arms, because it appears to be where the least amount of... Yeah, it seems to be where the least amount of our defense is right now, is in the arms. Everything else is, well, our hands and arms. So it looks like everything else is way above 10 in resistances. Meanwhile, our arms and hands are much, much lower. I think the only thing covering our arms and hands right now is the chainmail is covering our arms and doesn't really provide a ton for the arms. We could probably find something better than this chainmail very easily, possibly even making better chainmail ourselves, or just making a chest piece and armed arms. But we'll have to look into that in the future. This has been Cataclysm. I have been Areima. I still have plans for this series. I'm hoping that we can eventually get to the point where we are so strong between both magic and martial that we might be able to find and slay a dragon. It will involve journeying across the countryside and probably using our gate network in order to make such a journey possible. But it is the ultimate goal that I've had for this series from the beginning, and we are closer than ever. We are probably less than a dozen episodes away from being able to find and slay a dragon, which will be a penultimate goal for Vellum and a true example of being an archmage, because what more could you do to go down in the storybooks than to kill a dragon in the post-apocalyptic wasteland? I hope you have enjoyed, and if you do, feel free to leave a like and a comment, and if you want to see more of our journey with Vellum, subscribe. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.